So again, welcome. This is the fourth series. We started with, we've done three other series. The first one being Introduction to Export. And I basically talked about why export is so important, especially to the Nigerian economy. I don't know, some of you may have seen my earlier video today. You see certain things are already showing up. The governor of Ekiti State, who is the head of the Governors Forum, said there's a possibility states may not get any allocation in June. And like I said before, when they buy your oil today, they pay you in about 3 months' time, 90 days. So the whole of March, Nigeria found it very difficult to have anybody buying their oil. So if a host states all over the country don't get revenue, a lot of things is going to happen. Arik Air just told about 90% of their workers to stay at home, no pay for the period. They were only able to pay them 20% of their salary for this month. So a lot of things is happening. It is affecting every sector, and you have to be prepared. You know, it's not something that is going to happen and stop in 2-3 months. It's going to take a long time to recover. So the little you have, you need to focus and find out the right avenue to invest it in. The second series, I talked about export essentials, and we looked at packaging, documentation, and those type of things, the laws governing export, especially with respect to the US. And we are going to draw on part of these lessons we learned in that series on today's video. So again, be sure to go to YouTube, search for Nduka Ude, subscribe to the video. It will alert you once there's any upload. And then on Tuesday, we talked about finding buyers. We looked at the 9 ways to find buyers for your product, for your export products. We talked about partnerships, selling to manufacturers. We talked about selling to existing Amazon and eBay sellers. We talked about brand transfer, a very important concept that you need to tap into. And I'm going to deal more with that with respect to fashion. We talked about selling yourself. We talked about attending conferences, building your own website and presence. We talked about social media. We talked about online advert. Now, a lot of these things, they take a lot more information, you know, so something like online advert is a course that I'll do down the line that can take us a whole day just to do. So if we're going by 1 hour series, you may need to attend for about 8 hours before we can exhaust that. So that's it. Let's focus on today. Today we are talking about export with emphasis on fashion items. So anything fashion. Now, before I continue, I want to again emphasize the importance of what we call product market fit. I discussed this the last time when we were talking about finding buyers. You know, product market fit is basically saying that the product you are selling to a given market is what the market is looking for. You know, don't go and be selling, Babalawo dress or, those type of dress in the American market. Nobody's going to buy. You know, so you need to really study the market, find out what it is that they are selling. And again, if you go back to my introduction on export, I showed you the right ways to find out if a particular product is going to work out. And I will summarize on that again. If you are interested in, say, selling socks, go on Amazon, look at the price that they are selling different type of socks. If you see a good price, you know, take about 50% off that, because you are going to pay some commission to Amazon and that. And then that gives you a good idea if it's something that you should look into. You know, so product market fit is very, 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 very important. And again, when we're talking about product market fit, let's get it straight. You don't have to be the manufacturer of every product you sell. The smart people do not need to manufacture. Somebody can be exporting 4 or 5 different items, none of which they are manufacturing. So what do you do? You go to some of these makers, either in Aba or Benin or wherever, Ogun, a lot of those industrial complexes. Strike a deal with them to sell a given volume to you. If you've done the analysis and it makes sense, then you become the exporter of those products. You don't need to be a tailor to export fashion items. Go and look for a tailor that has the good work. Give them the volume. A lot of them are looking for volumes because, as you see, most of them, they are only busy when? During Easter, during Christmas. A lot of times they don't have anything doing. So if you can go and negotiate and say, look, I will give you 10 clothes to sew for me every week, a lot of them will be happy. So let's get that clear. Now, why fashion? Fashion is very important. Again, my teachings are for small and medium businesses. Individuals can tap into, but I really try to focus more on businesses who have something ready to export. So when you are asking me questions, don't be asking me what should I export. I prefer to talk to those who already have products that they are exporting, and then I show them how to blow up their exports. So again, why export? Low cost of entry, and I'll show you with 50,000, 60, 100,000, you can start an export business. There are certain things that will be way more expensive to export. Minerals, all those type of things, they are way more expensive. But fashion, you can start with, 10 shirts, 20 shirts, export. And then as they sell, whether you need to replenish. Low cost of entry, virtually anybody can start it. Fashion is duty free to the US. Under AGOA, African Growth and Opportunity Act, I talked extensively on AGOA in the second series. If you did not watch that series, go back to the second series because it will show you how to use chained countries of origin to make sure that your items get into the US duty free. So fashion is duty free to the US, that is one. And then the most important thing about fashion is that there are varieties. There are so many things you can do in fashion. I can decide to do socks. I can decide to do bikini wears. I can decide to be making pillowcase. I can decide to be making bed sheet. It can be shoes. It can be accessories. I can be doing beads. I can be doing bangles. I can be doing pants and undies. There are just so many things when it comes to fashion. And again, if you look at it again, under all that category, you can decide to focus on boys. You can decide to focus on girls. You can decide to focus on babies. You can decide to focus on women, men. Even under women, you can decide to focus on pregnant women. You can decide to focus on, the heavy women, that don't typically see the small size of clothes to wear. So there is so much niche. Even something as simple as a shoelace. Go to Amazon and see how much they are selling shoelaces. So for fashion, there is a lot to do, a lot. Swimwears, earrings, leggings, jackets, so much to do. Now, when it comes to fashion, this is one of the issues I have seen a lot of times with those trying to do fashion. A lot of them try to do too many things at once. You want to be selling men's clothes, babies' clothes, children. No, it doesn't work that way. The best way to do it is to focus on a niche. Do you want to sell socks? Focus on just socks. Now, there are a couple of reasons for this. And if you look at some crazy examples, there's a company that makes, they specialize in just sweaters. And it's not just normal sweater. They call them ugly sweaters here in the US. If you watch Shark Tank, you may have seen it. So, since they invested in that, in them, they've sold over $70 million just making sweaters. So why is it that I advocate for people to focus on a given line? If you want to do fashion, can you focus on just swimwears? Focus on just bikinis. Why? When you start going into the international market, you are going to be competing with a lot of companies that have volume. And when you try to do so many things, one is going to be difficult to get your costs down. What you are looking at when you go into the international market is your cost per unit. How much is it costing you to produce a unit of a given product? Because when you are able to reduce that cost, your products become more competitive. Now, yes, the devaluation of the naira is negative, but it becomes positive in that your labor cost and everything is done in naira. So by the time you factor all that in, the cost of your products become cheaper in the international market. But if you try to do so many things, you cannot become a specialist in that particular area, and it will be very difficult to get your cost per unit down. And that's why a lot of Nigerians who are trying to do fashion continue to struggle. One person wants to make shirts, the same person wants to make shoes. He wants to do everything. No. If you are making shirts, you are making shoes, you cannot buy your leather that you need, maybe from Kano, in volume, because you are trying to decide which one you are trying to do. Nike, for example, Nike is a $35 billion company. What do? Just your sneakers. That's all they do. I don't know how many of you know a man by the name of Damon John. Damon John is the CEO, the owner of Fubu. He was talking one time how he did not focus in the early days of his business. And he was doing so many things. He started at the same time with Under Armour. Under Armour focuses on sportswear. So they found a niche, the shoes, just like Nike. That's where Under Armour is. And he knew the owner of Under Armour. They started almost the same time. As of now, Under Armour is about a $5 billion company. He's still in the 500. Yeah, Fubu is big, but it cannot compare to Under Armour. While he was doing so many things, Under Armour just focused on a niche. And that is what we need to focus on. If you are making underwear, women's underwears from Nigeria, focus on it. Let your underwear become the best. You are better making the best underwear, selling 200,000 units of that underwear a year, than trying to do so many things at once. So that is the key. That is my biggest advice on this. I was chatting with a guy early today. I'm sure he's on his Noza Shoes. You guys can check him out, Noza_shoes. And when I went to his Instagram page, he told me he does shoes, and he has so many type of shoes. My advice to him, and I told him, yes, later on we'll talk more when I finish the series. My advice to such a person will be, focus on one line of shoes. Because if you focus on just maybe the canvas shoes or the sneakers that they call it, you'll be able to get your unit cost of making those sneakers way, way, way down. And then as you focus on one, you begin to improve on the quality of that shoe. You begin to see volume demand. Because when you are in the international market, it is the volume that matters. And as we go on, later towards the end of the series, I'm going to offer to work with a few select brands to help them in a lot of things. But to do it, you need to focus, and that is going to be a key. So again, find your niche. This is very important. First, determine the product market fit. Find a niche. Focus on one small sector and dominate that sector. All right, enough said on that. Also, in the third series, and again, that's why I say this series build on to the next. This is not going to be a very long, lengthy lecture, because we've already done a lot of the preliminaries in series 1, 2, 3. One of the things we talked about was finding buyers. And we looked at 9 ways to find buyers. And again, my focus for this series is small, medium companies, individuals that want to start up. And we looked at some ways in which you find buyers. We talked about partnerships, selling to manufacturers, selling to existing Amazon sellers, brand transfer, selling yourself, going on conferences, social media, online advert, and then building your own website and all that. But for fashion, I really recommend you go with 3 key areas to sell, especially if you're a small, medium business. no matter what it is you want to do with fashion. One, I will say you start by selling to existing Amazon sellers. Because these people, they already have the knowledge of how to sell on Amazon. Selling on Amazon is not just a factor of, oh, I've listed my products and that is it. It takes a lot. You have to optimize the page. At times you have to do marketing. That's why when you're on Amazon, you click on a particular product, you see some products that they say sponsored. Those people are advertising their products to be on the first page when you search for those items. And I showed you how to do that in the third series. Go to Amazon, search for any product that you're interested in, something that is similar to what you want to do. And on a particular page, you will see where it says 12 new from maybe $3 or 17 used from $5. Click on that 12 new, right? It will show you all the sellers that are selling that particular item. And then click on any seller you want to contact. When you click on them, it will show you the details and there will be a link that says ask questions. Click on that to email the seller. So again, that is one that I recommend, selling to existing buyers. The other one I recommend highly for those of you that make shoes is not just shoes that are into fashion, is brand transfer. So again, I will explain this very well because it's important. So the 8 tips, finding fashion buyers. Fashion buyers. Again, the number one, existing Amazon /eBay sellers. Sell to them. They are already buying from somebody who makes it. So you can also sell to them. Then the other one is brand transfer. So what is brand transfer again? Brand transfer, and like I said in my last lecture, brand transfer is how China dominated the world in terms of manufacturing. When you go to typical US companies, no, they don't want to spoil their name. They just want to manufacture and put their name on it. But when you go to a Chinese manufacturer will tell you, yes, I make shoes. What name do you want me to put on it? You put your logo, they make the shoe and put your logo on it. Another person comes to them, say, oh, I want to make these same shoes. What logo do you want to put on it? They will put whatever logo. So that Chinese manufacturer is in China, is manufacturing shoes for a company in Australia, in the US, in Germany, in UK. You can see the amount of volume that they are doing. They are still making their profit. They are keeping their factories running. So we that are in fashion, why can't we emulate that? That's a key question. Very, very important. Go to any Amazon, eBay, find out existing brands. Tell them you can sell it. Now, existing brands, you sell to existing brands. That is one. The other one, I didn't want to give you guys this tip, but I will give it to you anyway. Typically, it's under my paid version, and like I said before, I have a paid version of this class that will start after the lockdown. It's going to be 5 days, and within those 5 days you are going to learn so much that if you can implement what we do in that 5 days, I don't see why you won't sell in the millions. So the other one for brand transfer is celebrities. Celebrities. Well, I hope I got the spelling right. So now you have a lot of, and this is what a lot of companies do too. When you see Paris Hilton selling perfumes, is it her that is manufacturing it? No. A company went to Paris Hilton and told her, look, we know you have, 20, 30 million people on your feed. Can we manufacture a perfume in your name and you sell it? So what happens? Paris Hilton takes about 5-10% of every sale, but the company is there making their millions. So if you are the manufacturer of good quality shoes, look for a celebrity that is under brand transfer. Forget that it's under the celebrity's name. Look for a reputable celebrity. Discuss with them and say, look, let's make a shoe in your name, in your, every percentage sale that comes from that, you get it. There are other ways we can make money on that brand transfer, but I'm going to treat just these two. So you can see the potentials that lie here. There are some Nigerian celebrities there that have, 15 million followers. If you have a good product, go and meet them. I'm already talking to a few based on some people that have been reaching me. And I'm talking to one or two celebrities already to see how to push their products using this process, brand transfer. And if you're able to talk to those celebrities, the demand is high. We will also work with you to push those products for sale here in the US. You can imagine what that will do to your business. So we need to stop worrying about, let everything be in my name. No, I don't know. All that matters to you is that you are making the money. So there are other ways there, but I won't go too much into that. And then the third one that I recommend for finding buyers for fashion is to sell yourself on Amazon. Okay, sell yourself on Amazon. At times we can add eBay. So this is the third. So the three: sell to existing Amazon buyers, brand transfer, or you sell yourself. Now we're going to deal a lot with this in today's lecture. I'm going to expand a little more on this. We'll do some calculations to show you what we have that will help you to work on that. But again, and that is why I always talk about finding your niche is very important. Because by the time you decide to sell yourself, let's assume you decide to sell shoes, right? Now, let's take, for example, the guy who reached out to me that sells shoes today, and he has so many types of shoes. Now, he wants to start selling for himself on Amazon. Now, out of those type of shoes, he has to have different sizes, maybe 5 or 6 different sizes. So if he has 30 types of shoes, he has to have 6 different sizes for each. That is what? Because the most annoying thing that can happen to buyers that discourage them is when they go to your page, they try to buy a shoe, you don't have it in this size, you don't have it in that size, then why are you selling? Or you only have it in one size, it doesn't work. It's better you focus on, because when you are selling for it on yourself, inventory becomes a big issue. How do you manage the inventory? And inventory is money. Because if you have 30 different pairs of shoes, 6 different sizes, that's 180 pairs of having one of each. Now, if you decide to have 5 of that, that is 180 times 5, 900. So you're going to have 900 pairs of shoes just sitting there. That will be a challenge when you are starting small, you're trying to sell on yourself. One, inventory becomes a big issue when you're selling for yourself, and then you have customer support. Because a lot of buyers are going to be contacting you and all that. And then, so are you going to now go and set up a different entity to, people to be replying emails? Because one of the things that I see that a lot of Nigerian businesses do wrongly too is you send them an email on their website and they never respond. I had a long discussion with a lady in Netherlands. She's Nigerian yesterday. And, she's doing similar thing, finding suppliers of products in Nigeria and sending to the European Union. And one of her challenges is that she will send a lot of these distributors email. They will not respond, but they have their email on their website. She will call the number, nobody responds. So how can you prove that you're a serious seller? So selling on Amazon, a lot of people ask me, oh, I want to sell on Amazon, I want to sell. Are you ready for those commitments? Will you be available each time? And then another thing you need to consider is the time difference. So Amazon is in the US, Nigeria is way ahead of time. So a lot of times, you are having that time gap issue. And then if a customer says, oh, return this item, that has always been the challenge a lot of them have. Because they either using one of their brothers or someone who is going to job, they don't really have that time. So one of the things we do for those who want to sell on Amazon is we will sell on your behalf. We'll handle the customer support, we'll handle the return, we'll handle the inventory, we'll handle everything. It's a great way to sell, especially when you have little quantity to start with. This, even though it's complex, but because we handle all that, this is very good for those who are starting small. I'm starting on 10 shirts, I'm starting on 20. You have just 100,000 in capital to invest. This is what you will do, because we will take a lot of that support issues away from you. We'll list it on Amazon, we'll handle the support and all that. So these are the 3 key things that you need to really focus on. That is very important. And as we go along, I'm going to talk about, especially those who want to start small, how to know your cost per item. We'll look into all that as we go along. Now, I also talked about export, what do you call it? For fashion, we talked about documentation, how you document your export items. We dealt extensively with that in Export Essentials. So for the benefit of those who were there, I will not go and repeat it. But just to summarize again, when you are sending items under fashion, especially clothes, if you are sending shirts, the US Customs, they want to know that the material for that shirt is made up of 30% polyester, 70% cotton. Why? Because the duty they are assigned to the actual components are different. But yes, a lot of this will ship under AGOA, so you don't have to worry about that. But your documentation still requires it. So if you've not watched Series 2, go back to Series 2. Go to YouTube, search for my name, YouTube, search for Onduka Ude, search for this in YouTube. You will see all the past videos on this. So Series 2 dealt with how to prepare your documentation for export. You have to make sure you have the commercial invoice and the packing list. And I dealt extensively with how to deal with that in Series 2. So I'm not going to go too much into that. And then also how to document for AGOA, we dealt with that, not much, as long as, again, some of the things you manufacture, they may need products coming in from China. So if they are coming in from a non-AGOA country, how do we ensure that it still qualifies for AGOA? At least 35% of the value of that item needs to be items sourced locally. And when we say sourced locally, it includes the cost of the products as well as the labor input for that material. So again, go back to Series 2 and look at that. So the next thing we'll look at is what I call starting small. And again, I told you that the three ways I want you guys, if you are starting small, is to look at brand transfer, sell yourself, which is actually the most lucrative most times, because even brand transfer, the celebrity or whoever the existing brand is going to take a chunk of the profit. But that is that. So now you have found the items to ship. How do you know the cost and everything? And I'm going to be using what we do at Shop to My Door in doing that evaluation. And it's very simple. You know, so what we have done, so here we have various sizes of boxes that you can use to ship your items. Here I have, just as a demonstration, this is our smallest box, you know, and we also offer storage for these boxes, you know. So just to make it clear, I have about 20 shirts in this box, you know. So this is a box, the dimension is, and I'll run the numbers here so that you get a full understanding of how that works. Let me keep this down for now. Because it's important you know what is your estimated cost to ship a shirt. So when you are doing your calculations, you know. So we have the box size. We have various sizes. Our smallest is 12 by 12 by 12, which is the one I just showed you. That box will take about, I'm working with now somebody who is selling packet shirts, you know, this type of shirts. So you are making this type of shirt, which could be singlets or trousers. They're about the same size, and you're trying to sell it Amazon. So number of shirts. This box will take about 20 of such shirts. The weight in kg is about 6, and the shipping for that, shipping, clearing everything to our warehouse, is $60. Yeah, and this comes down as you ship more. And then the shipping, so cost shipping per shirt is now what? 60 over 20, that is $3. So it's costing you about $3 to ship one shirt. Now, if you are bringing those 20 shirts and you want to start small, like I said, on Amazon, for this type of box, we'll offer you storage in our US warehouse. And in some of my videos, I'll take you guys on a tour of the warehouse. And that storage is just $10 a month. So we'll store this for $10 a month, all your 20 shirts. So storage per shirt is about 50 cents, you know. So what I've done, so that we don't waste time, and I will take a more in-depth view of that, is that I've drawn out the full series, and I'm going to have this available on my Instagram page, this breakdown. So we have different boxes, like I said. This is the first box. It has about 20. So I'm somebody who is trying to go into fashion, sell it on Amazon. I have this type of shirt. About 20 of it will fit in this box, and you know, that is without even making it tight. If we make it tight and you seal it well, probably more than 20 will go in here. So this is this box that I'm showing you. It will take about 20. The weight is about 6 kg. I think on the scale is weighing about 13.4 pounds, which is 6 kg divided by 2.2. The shipping is about 60. So that gives you about $3 per shirt shipping cost. If you want us to store it, so if we are storing it, we are keeping it in our warehouse. As customers from Amazon order, we will do the dispatch to them. And then that is $10 a month. So that's about 0.5 per shirt. So that is the smallest box that we offer storage on. The next box is this one. So this one is this 24 by 12 by 12 inches. This box will take about 45 shirts. This is something we have tried, you know. It may even take more if we tie the shirt tightly. And again, the type of shirt I'm talking about, packet shirts like this. And that will take about 45. The weight is 15. The shipping is 120, which drops the shipping cost per shirt to 2.67. We'll store this box for you for $15 every month. and that's about 33 cents storage per shirt. And then one of the things that we offer if you are signing up to sell on Amazon under us is that if your items don't sell in 90 days, we will ship it back to Nigeria for you for free. We'll use Ocean to ship it, but we'll send it back to you if in 90 days it doesn't sell. So that is the guarantee we are giving you. So you don't really lose in any way. So that is that for that box. The next box is the 24-24-12. So we are now going for those who are doing bigger business. This is 24-24-12. 24-24-12. This one here. And let me put it on this side. 24-24-12. And that will take about 100 of those the shirts I showed you. This type of men's packet shirt. The weight is about 30 kg, we pack it tight. Shipping is 218. And this is shipping, clearing everything right to our US warehouse where we'll store it. So you can see it drops, the cost per shirt is dropping. We'll store that 100 shirts, $20 a month. So it's about 20 cents to store each shirt per month. So that is the next size of box. The one after this is now we're getting into those who are doing bigger business. So this is a 24-24 box, and that will take about 200 of those shirts. It will actually take more than 200. I'm just using this as a worst case estimate. If we pack it tight, it will take way more. Weight is about 60 kg. That's the shipping. That's the shipping per shirt. The storage per month, and you can see the storage. So the more you do, the lower it comes. And then the biggest of all is 36 by 24 by 24. Let me get that. That's a very big box. So this is the 36 by 24 by 24 box, and it will take roughly 320 shirts. I believe it will take way more if we pack it tight. About 90 kg, 614. Again, this is shipping, clearing, and delivery to our warehouse. The shipping per shirt comes to just under $2. The storage, that's what you see. And again, like I said, if we are doing this for you, we'll store it for 90 days. If they don't sell, we'll send it back to you free via Ocean. So this sheet, I'm going to make it available on my Instagram page. You will also have it on the video as part of the video, so that you can always refer to it. Now, there are some key numbers that are important here. So obviously, as you ship more, the cost to ship a shirt drops. And when you are discussing with potential buyers, and again, get it right, this is the minimum we like to do because of how shipping works. The minimum is 6 kg. So again, if you get it right, you are trying to sell on Amazon, you are not going to want to be sending one shirt. You want to send at least 20 shirts, and that's why we worked it out like this. And if you look at the math, 20 shirts, shipping it for $60, exchange rate of 400, 60 times that is about what, 24,000. How much are you going to buy those shirts? I don't know, maybe 5,000, or if somebody is making it for you, if you are the tailor sewing it. So you can see that with anywhere between 50,000 and 100,000, you've started this business. So if a shirt is shipping for $3 and you are selling it on Amazon, say for 20, I don't know what it costs you to make. You'll be able to go in, do your calculations, and determine what your profit potential is. We will, with time, do the same analysis for shoes, but we can't do for everything. But again, you have the dimensions of this. So for somebody who is doing shoes, what we'll probably do if you are ready to take your shoe business to a big level is when we are shipping the shoes, we will not ship them in the boxes so as to reduce your volume weight. What we do with such people is that they compress the the boxes. They ship the boxes, just like you get them from the printers. And then when it gets here, we will open it up when customers buy. So that will take less space. Another option too is if you send us the design, we can look for companies here who will do the printing. So you are just making the shoes in Nigeria and shipping it to us. So again, these are the key numbers you need to put in your head. So when you are discussing, this is what is going to cost me to ship a shirt. Now, for those who want to do bigger volume, if we send this via ocean, this cost per shirt will not even be up to 30 cents. It will be so small because we are doing so much via ocean. And if you have the capacity to do, say, 5,000 shirts, and you can see how much you save. 5,000 times maybe $2, that's over $10,000 you're going to save just on shipping by going via ocean. So again, like I said, I always like my series to be not more than 1 hour, because once it gets more than 1 hour, it's a little bit difficult to follow. One other thing I would like to talk about is what I will call do's and don'ts when you are trying to get into fashion. Again, if you are trying to use us to sell on Amazon, please, there are a few things we will not like you to do. One is, don't send us fake shirts and designers that you got from China or from anywhere. Because in Nigeria you have all the fakes. It's not only in Nigeria, it's everywhere. You have the Gucci, Gucci, the Adidas. Don't send us those and think we will list it for you. No, we won't. If you send that to us, it has to be something that is actually made by you. Amazon has a lot of restrictions on selling brand items on them if you don't have a license from the brand to sell it. If you cannot show that you are a licensed distributor, because they are fighting fakes, don't send us those type of things. And then review the quality of what you are shipping before you ship it, especially when you are outsourcing the manufacturing. So for example, you get a deal to supply 50 shirts, and then you give it to a tailor to handle. Make sure you review the quality before it ships, because you don't want to ship items and they are rejected here. It's going to be very expensive, and that is one of the problems people who have tried to use that model have faced. When they list their products on eBay, I know 1 or 2 companies were doing that. They list a product for you on eBay, and then when buyers buy it, they ship it from Nigeria to the buyer. Now, when the buyer rejects it for any reason, and they have the right to, they can return it if they are not happy. You are going to have to pay the cost to send it all the way back to Nigeria. In most cases, what most of them have done is they will just tell the buyer to just keep it. It's not worth it. So they will refund the buyer the money, because Amazon or eBay will pull it out from your sales, and then they will still have to pay to ship it. So be very cautious of quality. Make sure before you send anything to us to sell for you, you check the quality very well. Another thing too is the labels, and this is very important, especially for those that make, shoes and type of shirts. Why do you see shirts from Ralph Lauren always selling more, apart from the name? You see those crests that they put that people love to see. By putting a crest on a shirt, it just adds some extra value to it. If you have a shoe and you have a metal lapel on top of the shoe, it looks more expensive than a shoe that doesn't. So look at some of those things. They increase the perceived value of your item. So those are just some tips. Don't send us fake. Review the quality before shipping. Look back at your products and see some of these little things that you can add. Now, there are a lot of it. We'll leave that for later. And then another service we also offer, and that is in the partnership area. 9 ways to find buyers. The number one was partnership, where we partner you that have quality products with most likely Nigerians that have products to sell. We have a database of over 15,000, 20,000 Nigerians over here in the US, and a lot of them keep asking us, oh, who can we partner with? What we are trying to do this business, we're trying to do that. So, but that is reserved for those, who are in my paid version. And again, I'll talk about it again. I'm giving you everything you need to start a business. You don't need to join the paid version. The paid version is a 5-day class where we go in depth into a lot of these things. And the essence is that at the end of that 5 days, you will be exporting. There's no, we'll go through designing your site. If you're in food, we'll go through FDA and all that. But I'm still going to give you all this in this series. So that is all for now. If you have any questions, just send me a DM. Maybe I'll take a few questions. Just hold on, because I have to switch, pick up the phone to do that. But that is all for that. And the next series that we'll be holding on Tuesday, again, it's Tuesdays and Fridays, is going to be on food. You don't want to miss this. If you want to do anything food, it's going to be an explosive lecture. We're going to look at sample foods, see those that came from Nigeria, see the way it is here, look at some of the things that you want to do. So just give me 1 second, let me switch over.